Hey guys, in this video we'll be looking at the next part of exercise 10.3, the second part which looks at what's called crashing, which is a fairly simple concept. It's a tedious one. It basically involves us to recalculate the critical path once some changes have been made to the times of the activities, that being the edges. Alright, so crashing is just a method of speeding up the completion time of a project by shortening the critical path. This means that the critical path will need to be refound. So in some of the examples that we've looked at in previous videos, so think back to the first lesson where we looked at the activity of someone waking up in the morning. They had to make breakfast before they ate it, then they brushed their teeth, and say the overall completion time for their morning routine was 30 minutes. If we shortened the cooking breakfast by 2 minutes, would that make an overall change to the project time, so the estimated completion time? So that's what we're going to be looking at in this video today. So here we've got an example of a network. This has already been calculated. All the hard work has been done. So the earliest starting times, later starting times, as well as the overall completion time has been calculated, and the critical path has been identified. So in this one, we can see that as it is now, the critical path is A to D to K to N. So we can see that the values in those little houses there are the same. Therefore, that's what dictates our critical path. However, on the side here, to shorten the overall completion time of the project, activity A is to be shortened to 2 days and activity D is to be shortened to 12 days. Determine the new critical path and the new minimum completion time for the project. So this idea of crashing doesn't really involve any new concepts. It's just recalculating critical paths. So on the next slide, I'm going to have redrawn this graph, but I'm going to have made those changes to activity A now being 2 and activity D now being 12, and seeing if that or how that affects our critical path. All right, so here we have the graph redrawn. Activity A has been crashed and is now got a value of 2. Same with activity D, now has a time of 12. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a full forward scan, backward scan to identify the new earliest completion time and whether the critical path has been affected. All right, so we're going to start at the start. We know that we start with a 0. Let's go through, and as we come across any of the vertices, we fill in the triangular section of them. All right, so A has been completed, took a total of 2. B, being completed, took a time of 4. The next one here comes after E, only one edge running into it, so 6. Next one, we have 2 options coming into the vertex after G and C, so either 6 and 2 for 8 or 4 and 6 for 10. Choose our larger option. All right, next we have after F and H, it can be either 10 and 4 for a total of 14 or 6 and 7 for a total of 13. Let's go with that higher number again. Up the top here we have I and D, so either 14 and 2 for a total of 16 or 2 and 12 for a total of 14. So already we can kind of see that a lot of these numbers are going to be different, and therefore our critical path is most likely going to be different. Up the top here after J has a total of 3, so that's going to be 19. After K we have 20. And finally we have M being 21 and N being 23. Therefore 23. So that's our new earliest completion time of the whole project. So it was 25, but crashing activities A and D has decreased the overall completion time by 2. All right, to identify the critical path, let's now go backwards. So 23, subtract 2 for 21 up here, subtract 3 for 20. All right, here, so either 21 take 3 is 18 or 20 take 4. That's a lower number. Remember, we choose the lowest number for our backward scan. All right, down here, we will have 14s for 16 take 2. Down here, we'll have 10 for 14 take 4. Over here, we've got a couple of options, so it's either 14 take 7, or 10 take 2. Now 14 take 7 gives us the lower number of 7. Up the top, we have got 2 options, so 16 take 12, which is 4, or 7 take 4, which is 3. Down the bottom, 10 take 6 is 4, and finally 4 take 4, 0. So you can see we do have a new critical path here. It has changed quite a bit. So following along where we now have those larger valued edges, so B, C, H, I, K, and N. So the critical path has completely changed now that we've identified those. So our new path is B, C, H, I, K, N. Cool. So that's pretty much it for this part of the exercise. A little bit of a shorter video today, which is nice. These also can involve sometimes costs being associated with the crashing, so we do need to look at how much it costs to crash some of the activities and whether it's worth it in the overall scheme of completing the project earlier. We'll be doing that a little bit as well next lesson in the form of a practice exam question. All right, well done guys, thank you.